G'day guys, and welcome to another video. We've got a very special guest back in the cauldron. Shorty, how you doing, mate?
Hey mate, I'm good. It's been a while.
Mate, it sure has been. It's great to have you back on the show.
Yeah.
The Tizio 100 bandwagon.
Yeah, we had a massive falling out, but
Yeah.
I forgave him for what he did. But
Finally back to normal now. So
that's good.
good to see you, mate. So doing a bit of a top 8. We're thinking maybe the whole ladder, but it's going to take all day to do that, and it's hard enough to pick the 8. So we've got last year's ladder here, which quite some interesting results there. West Coast were pipped to not even make finals. I think someone had them second last. I don't think many would have had Collingwood in the 8. Hawthorn a lot higher than probably expected. So when you look at it, I don't think anyone really would have expected anyone to finish around where they did. Maybe Sydney.
Well, I reckon I had West Coast, Collingwood, and Hawthorn missing the 8.
Yeah,
and I had North bottom 4. So
and they're nearly there. So
shocking prediction, really.
It goes to show how tough it is. But what we'll do, open up a bit of word and go 8-1. Shorty will start us off, and then I'll go after him, and we'll sort of run through roughly who we think will finish where and sort of why we think that. We often have justification for why we do things and why we pick things, so it'll be good. But we'll start off with Shorty at number 8. Who squeezes in to the top 8? So he's gone on the keyboard. You can.
I've gone the Giants.
It's gone the Giants, yeah.
I've gone the Giants, and I just think they've lost a little bit of talent. They've still got a pretty good 22, but I just worry whether if they get a few injuries or not, maybe they can't cover it like they once did, and they've probably been on a slight decline, haven't they?
Has gone down.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
They lose a few, and I just think maybe they might be on a little bit of a drop off. Got the Bombers in 7th, and I can't use a keyboard as well.
Yeah.
But I think the Bombers have recruited really well, as we all know, and I think they've got a pretty exciting game plan. Obviously, was it last year that they started so poorly?
Yeah, they did.
And then they seemed to really...
some bad games.
Yeah, they seemed to find their game plan, and some players started to find their form and gel together. So I've got the Bombers in there. And
6, who's you got?
I've got Geelong at 6.
Yep.
And like we've spoken a fair bit, they're tough to pick, aren't they?
We talk about them a
obviously
lot.
They're our team, that's no secret. But I just think when you play at Cardinia Park, you're always going to win your fair share. And probably if you want a range, it's 6 to 10, and I've put it 6th. But I think we're definitely on that cusp. But I just think we'll have enough games that we definitely win.
21-3 over the last 3 seasons, mate. It's the category, so and all those I believe to the Swans.
Yeah.
So interesting stat.
Got Collingwood in at 5. Now some people might be surprised about that, and you picked up my typo.
Collingwood.
I could see it in your face.
Collingwood. Yep, number 5.
I think most probably have them top 2 or 3, but I'm not a massive... obviously they've got a great midfield.
Yeah, they do.
But I don't think they're anything crazy in terms of like this top 4 lock. I still don't know whether Mason Cox is going to dominate and continue that form that he had for probably a month or so.
Yeah, can they replicate the same thing over a 2-year period with a younger list? Yeah.
There are a lot of guys that just seem to come together, particularly in the back half, that were unbelievable. Can they replicate that? Because I'm not sure whether...
Very tough to do that over multiple years.
Yeah, and in terms of top 4, I've got the Crows in at 4th, and it's a bit of a buzz team to say, I think the Crows are going to bounce back after all the stuff that they went through, but I think it's genuine. Obviously last year was a howler, with all the off-field stuff, injuries.
Speculation all throughout the year.
Yeah, but the Crouchers are on fire. They seem to be a much more settled team, chip on their shoulder to sort of respond. Yeah. And Adelaide Oval too is, a massive advantage.
Pretty tough to be in there, yep.
Yeah, and, the reigning Premier I've got in at 3rd.
West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were the Premier obviously, but like I said, I didn't have them in the 8. And I think they're still clearly an extremely good side, but a bit like previous years, they caught fire in the business end of the season. They had a very good home and away season, but they certainly proved me wrong. I just probably like the top 2 teams just a touch more than them.
Yeah, they're very tough. They had a really good hot spot. I think they won 10 or 11 in a row at the start, and
Yeah.
then they lost a couple, and with the Kennedy and Darling combination
Yeah.
out, and they lost their mojo for a little bit, but then got back to it.
And they found a way to win in Melbourne, which was probably key.
Yeah, huge. Yep, some big wins there.
Speaking of Melbourne, we have
Melbourne.
We have them
Number
in
2.
second.
Nice.
And probably most people have them right up there. It's an easy thing to say. Look, the D's, so many promising youngsters. They sort of have a mini breakout last year. You know, they've got a lot of weapons, don't they? I mean, losing Hogan, you know, that all that hurt, and Lever's still out for a bit. But,
Okay, yep.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. But that midfield and Gawn, it's pretty tough to argue with that. And I just feel like they've got a really good group of players that can take them a long way. But I will be interested to see how they cover that, and can Wiedemann step up and that sort of thing. It'd be interesting.
Got a lot to prove.
And then I've got on top. Nah, I'm just mucking around there.
What is happening?
I've got the Tigers in that one.
That's some good little play there.
I hate Richmond, but I honestly think they're the best team in the comp still, and I think they deserve to have that mantle. You know,
so true. Yeah.
Collingwood caught fire in that prelim, and good on them. It was outstanding, but Richmond. You know, we remember commenting through the year how they were just machine-like in the way they would just pressure and just get goals out of nothing.
But they always moved it forward. They did everything they could to just put the opposition defence under pressure.
And it looked like back-to-back was on the cards. You know, the way they were playing, just such confidence and system, and they just burn you in the last quarter.
Yeah, they would break you.
Yeah.
It was like, flying above 8.
But that's what you can get in... Brings up away.
Go on. Delete.
Preliminary finals, obviously, anything can happen, and anything did. So, but I think they still deserve to be at the top. I wonder how Lynch will affect everything. You know, throw the apple cart out, as Rancy said, or whatever. But
very interesting comments from Rancy.
Could just make him stronger.
Controversial.
So that's my top 8. Just you know, there's nothing surprising about it really. And there'll be a couple of teams that bob up that we don't expect. I mean, I ummed about, say, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide. I think Sydney and Hawthorn are on the slide. I definitely think Hawthorn are the slide. I think Sydney will still vie for the 8. I like a lot of their young players, but I just had them missing. So
they have to miss at some point.
Yeah. So that was how I got to that. But
it's a pretty good 8, mate.
Thanks,
I like it. I like it. Well,
what do you got?
Well, let's have a look at the list. I got it on my phone. Taking a photo of Notepad. All right, I'll take over the keyboard. So I'll start off with Port Adelaide making the 8. I feel like their list, Wingard out hurts them a little bit. But gee, when you got all those big guys, you know, you got Ryder, he's not going to get much better, but he's super critical to their structure and system. And Port Adelaide ruckman, how do I not remember his name? I think he'll be a big inclusion. Charlie Dixon, Westhoff, you know, they've got a really good spine, and I reckon they've been disappointing for a long time. You'd be pretty salt as a Port Adelaide supporter when you've got so many, I guess, top-end talent on your list, but not making the most of it.
Yeah.
They're not super easy to beat at Adelaide Oval, so it'll depend on how they go into state, but they'll have to make every post a winner if they're playing at home. They'll need to rely on those wins to sort of get them through it all. But yeah, it's such a good list, and they've been disappointing, and I feel like they have to respond this year. Otherwise, Ken will be in some strife, I reckon.
Well, they were all but playing finals, weren't they? 12-3, or I don't even know what they were, but they were going so well, maybe 11-4 or something. And then they lost whatever it was out of the last 7 or 8 and just went to absolute crap.
They fell to pieces. I think it was coincided with Ryder's injury and stuff, so you feel like a lot of it rests on his Achilles.
Yeah.
One would think. So Port, I reckon, make the 8. Essendon to round out number 7 there. Again, as you were mentioning, their recruiting's really good. Devon Smith's been huge. I think he won their BNF last year from memory. He was magnificent. And yeah, they've just got some extra handy players into their club, and they just look really promising. And you saw in the back half of the year, after their horrendous sort of start to the year, Danaher going out sort of coincided with their run and dash and carry, and they really tore some teams apart. And, you know, Challenger Hawks, who made the top 4 within probably 20 or 30 seconds later, may have been a different story. they've challenged us at the MCG a few times as well. So look, they're not too many times in my opinion. So yeah, they're not an easy club to play, and you don't really want to play them because they play that really fast, attacking, gut running game, and they really catch him out the back. So watch out when you're playing Essendon because they can cause you a lot of strife. So, and I don't think they've made the finals too much of recent times, and they'd want to. The 09s, no, I reckon.
Well, they haven't won a final for a long, long time.
2004 might have been their last one, so now's the time, and I feel like they've got the list again to justify it. Geelong in at 6, and we always talk about where Geelong will finish, when's their window closing, is the window open, kind of thing. Yeah. There's always questions about where the cat's at. We could probably put them top 2 if absolutely everything went perfectly. They could also finish 10th. 12th. If everything went to pieces, which would be an absolute disaster with the recruiting strategy Geelong have gone with. So, again, you look at the list, it's really sound. The players were hurting and they really wanted to make some changes. High levels, not really happy with it as well. So, Geelong, you would think, Dalehouse, Rowan, they're not going to be superstars, but all you need to do is play their role, tackle, run around, kick goals, hit targets. That's all they need to do. They just need to do the basics right, and then hopefully the midfield balance gets right with just enough attacking but also enough defence. I think when we have enough coverage there and our best key backs in the team, we look a much more solidified side. So
the balance wasn't there in the midfield, was it? They almost tried all year to have the Holy Trinity. Let's find a way to make them work, but they're not going to work all together, as sad as it is.
Everyone was very excited that it didn't work. The category is mainly my reason for having them in the 8.
You're probably locking in 8 games. 7 to 8 you can just about bank, all going well, but Geelong made it number 6 there, and number 5 I've gone with Melbourne, just outside the top 4. Missing 4.
It's kind of like Collingwood as well. How will they go a couple of years in a row with just everyone playing brilliant and career best footy? They'll obviously have plenty of games at home, plenty at the G, and they won't be easy to beat there. So look, Hogan out's pretty big. Don't know how big the calamities will be with him out, but I rate him as a great side. They can potentially make it in the top 4. I sort of got him there with some other clubs that just sort of tickle my fancy a little bit more as we get into the top 4, but they'll be very tough to beat, no doubt about it. And I reckon they're a very good chance to upset us at the category early on. Sadly to say, I hope not. But
I hope not, mate.
Well, it was 6 goals down, and it took a miracle to win from there. But no,
he's done it.
He's done it.
The Cats have won.
Great commentary there.
Worst calls for the goal after the siren you've ever seen.
6 goals down and no chance to win, and we did. But thanks, JB. I've gone with the Pies, going in 4th with an F on the end there. Collingwood, again, Dane Beams to their midfield, significant. They've got so many midfielders, probably one of the best midfielders on paper. And you've got Sidebottom and Treloar and Adams and Pendlebury and Sidebottom, if I didn't already mention his name. There's too many midfielders, and Crisp is also really handy.
A lot there.
Yes, it'll be a handful, and even without their key defenders, they managed to find a way, and you'd imagine with Lyndon Dunn hopefully back, I don't know when he'll be back. Obviously ACL will see him out maybe for a bit of the season. And there's a lot of long-term injuries to those key backs.
Darcy Moore's probably a plus for them. I heard Reid was injured again, but you're right, they're always injured, these blokes.
So they found a way. I think they can again. They'll be tough to beat at home. Like a lot of these sides that are in the 8, they're not going to be easy beats on their home deck. And playing some interstate clubs might be able to bank up some easier wins from some of those lesser likes. So Pies will be tough to beat. That midfield and their forward line looks really, really dynamic. Just with their small forwards, Jamie Elliott back, hopefully. I don't know if he's injured again, but
he's back.
He's back. His back's back. That's good. So look, they're tough to stop. Cox could improve or stay the same. They'll be happy with that if you can replicate similar performances.
Yeah.
Number 3, I've gone the Crows. I'm in the same line thinking with you, mate. It was very tough for them last year. I think the injuries, the soft tissues, the hamstrings was the main sort of word of the day. word of the year for them, really.
Yeah.
They had a horrendous start. They obviously had a lot of media press and coverage about the famous bus trip.
Blindfolded guy. Sounds like a Tuesday night at your place.
It doesn't sound like an ideal setup, does it? But Adelaide, yeah, I reckon they'll respond. They've got a superb sort of mixed balance in their list, and they play really well. And when they get their kicking and running game going, they're very tough to stop. They've got some really handy forwards. Tex, Eddie had a down year last year, and a lot of their players didn't really play their best. No. What we know that they can do, and I think they'll go one up. Their midfield's looking really good. You mentioned the Crouch brothers; they're looking top notch at the moment. So
get Brody Smith back.
Brody Smith will be huge. Yep, he was out, so that will help them no end. So that rebound of half back, that'll help Laird potentially intercept a bit more, and all sorts of good things for them. So yeah, you imagine their midfield back on top, their back line sort of strengthened, and you would imagine with all that comes the forward line sort of sinking a bit better with the midfield.
Yeah.
Very tough to beat at home as well.
Yeah.
So that is a big reason for that. Number 3, gone the Eagles for number 2. Mainly the home ground advantage here. The House of Pain, which has moved over. But look, they're incredibly tough to beat. Nick Nat will probably come back later on in the season, one would think. Interesting to see how the rucking goes. Without Lysette, they're basically their best number 2 ruck. So Vardy will have a fair bit to shoulder there. Hickey will have to be on his toes there, and definitely give some supply to the midfield. But if they get a number of clearances a game, you can see it be very tough to stop when you've got Kennedy and Darling in career best form, and some real nice, even lesser likes like Waterman who'll be probably taking over Lacra's role and providing some running carry there and some goals on the board, and they look very, very dangerous with a couple of other guys down there as well. So Ryan
and they won it without, obviously Gaff wasn't there and Shepherd,
and Nick Nat.
Nick Nat, obviously, two of their really key players.
So that's almost like a few new recruits for them, and they're just really hard to beat there, and that they were better on the road. So I think they can do that again, and surprise, surprise, I've gone with Fremantle to finish.
He's gone the WA boys.
WA Granny boys. We're going with Richmond on this one.
Yeah.
Again, their MCG record is second to none over the last couple of years. I think they've only lost like one out of the last 21, something along those lines. And
an important one it was.
And thank God it was that one that they went down. And thank you, Mason Cox and everyone.
What a night that was.
That was a beautiful night. I loved it. Richmond's very tough to beat at home. Their list looking prime. Mainly their game style really is why we pick them. And you just know what you're going to get from them every week. They pressure, they tackle, they just do the basics really well and implement them every week. They don't do anything fancy. They keep the ball moving. They're rock solid down back, but they're sort of zoned there. So they'll sort it out. Tommy Lynch will be, as I agree with you too, it'll be interesting to see how they go with that because it's sort of one less guy to be tackling. I'm not sure how much of a tackler is inside 50, but you'd pitch him as mainly taking contested marks. So may help with the 666. That's another thing to consider, I guess, with some of these clubs as well. You've got some big forwards here and Kennedy and Darling, and you've got Tex, Tommy Lynch and Jenkins and Fogarty as well. I don't think you'll get a run if they're all in it, but and you've got Lynch and Rewalt if they're playing up forward there, Mason Cox, and got some Wiedemann down there, and Tommy Hawkins and some big boys, Sav, if he's keeping his fingers intact.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Bernard, it'll be an interesting top 8. Like, that's logical, but it'll be something completely different by the time we actually get around to it.
Yeah. So the only difference was basically that 8th spot, really. I went the Giants and you went Port, and we sort of mixed it up, really.
Yeah. And I think, the Giants were slightly stiff, but I feel like they're just going... They're on the outer. They've lost a lot of their depth, and another one bites the dust with Dylan Shield going out. That'll be tough as well. Another brilliant midfielder to go out of the club. Munford back will be interesting, but it just will be very intriguing to see how they're going. Everyone rates them and thinks they're going to win a flag, but I just don't see it. I think they'll probably finish top 10, but they're not in my 8.
Yeah, I don't see them winning a flag. No,
not for the meantime. Hawthorn and Sydney. I think Sydney finally missed. They've been just hang-ins for so long. A couple of players to go out again, and they just couldn't win at home last year. Maybe that might change this year. Who knows?
Yeah, true.
Hawthorn without Tom Mitchell for the most part of the whole year will be incredibly tough, and they don't have a great list on paper. But still saying I've got them top 4, but I just don't see them this time around. I reckon they finally miss as well. So
yeah. I think it was funny. Like, it's always tough to pick the 8, but I felt that the top 4 was kind of out of 5 clubs.
Yeah,
and then there was probably, say, obviously I had Geelong, Essendon, Giants, and then probably Port, North, Hawthorn, Sydney. You could put in that discussion.
Yeah.
And then the rest were like clearly, Dogs, Carlton, Gold Coast, and Kilda. All that
Freo. Yeah.
Even though it's tough to pick a ladder, I felt it, and it probably won't work out that way, but it felt like there was a clear, almost 3 tiers.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit of overlap in that.
666.
And then, there's always surprises, as we've said.
Yeah.
But for me, I've actually found it somewhat simple, sort of picking my 8. But I'm sure we'll look back and get it bloody wrong.
Yeah, it often happens. Yeah, you have just an egg on your face after looking at the year that's gone by. So, mate, it's been a pleasure having you on.
No, it's good to be back.
Hopefully a few more videos throughout the year, maybe a few Cats reviews. We'll get Shorty along. He's back in G-Town, so it'll be good to have him along for the show. And Shorty's Supercoach, he does plenty of content over there, so check it all out. I'll have the link in the description for you guys to just have a bit of a sass. And he loves his Supercoach, so if you love it too, he's your man. So
sounds good, mate. Good little plug.
Beautiful. No dramas. Thanks for listening in today, guys. Hope you really enjoyed the top 8. Chuck down and comment what your top 8 looks like, and if there's going to be any surprises, and is our top 8 going to look in shambles in 6 months' time? We'll wait and see. Thanks heaps for hanging around, guys, and we will catch you all next time.